Dale, güey, papi.
Let me just check on this, make sure we live. It says we should be
But
live.
you just subscribe.
All right, perfect. We're live. All right. Yo, everybody, welcome back. It's another episode of Unpopular Mangaka. I'm your host, Meechgraphics. I got my co-host, Jonia.
What's up, guys?
And today we got a special guest. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, my name's Human Doberman, but I also go by Rico. I'm an amateur comic artist, and that's pretty much it.
Right on. Welcome to the podcast, Rico. Good to have you. We'll start off pretty straight with it. Last time we asked, our last guest, what his music is that he's listening to when he's drawing, and gonna ask you the same question. What do you listen to when you're drawing?
So it's a myriad of things. So basically, it all depends on what my mood is. So or what I'm working on. So if I'm working on a dark centric story, I'll listen to an artist called Carpenter Brute. It's more dark EDM, almost like dark synthwave. But if I'm if I like working on anything else, it's just a whole bunch of stuff. I'll listen to Latino music, maybe some rap here and there, even some country. It all just it's whatever I feel in the moment.
Latino music, huh?
Yeah.
Is that your favorite artist?
Latino reggaeton. I would say my favorite artist would probably be Aventadura, or maybe Bad Bunny. I know everybody loves Bad Bunny these days, but me being Puerto Rican, you gotta love Bad Bunny. If not, you're not Puerto Rican, right? But Wisin and Yiso, all those other artists, Daddy Yankee, that's all the Latino music I'll listen to and more.
Damn. You just mentioned some throwbacks right there. I see that you post on your story a couple of what's his name's Tyler the Creator for the new for his last album. What'd you think about that? What'd you think about that one?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I'm you got me there. I'm a really big Tyler the Creator fan.
We got it.
I've been there since Odd Future was still around. His newest album, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. It's definitely my second favorite though. I think Igor is still my favorite. Funny enough, I've done a couple covers of the songs there, but I think Chromacopia is definitely his most personal album yet. That's for sure, because it definitely starts delving into a lot of his personal life, as well as his father, which we all know is something very personal to him. And I think I was able to listen to it on a more spiritual level than I would with Igor. But I think with Igor, it's just straight euphoric.
I wanted to ask also about your. I think about your related to music as well. Wait, which one was your latest album? Is it Bounce or Push Wars? Yeah, I think it was Push Wars.
Yeah, so Push Wars came out. I believe I posted it back in September of 2023. That was around the time that I was going up against you two as well. We were all competing against each other that same month. I think, if I remember correctly, Meech posted Mala Sombra, and then you posted. I can't remember. It wasn't Yi Joy. Trying to remember. Well, but it was.
You don't gotta worry.
It wasn't Yi Joy.
Oh yeah, probably. My main point I wanted to ask about Push Wars, right?
Yeah.
What was the main music inspiration about it? What kind of music were you listening to that one specifically? Because I see this pretty crazy comic right there. I think it's one of my personal favorites. So what's going on?
Okay, so I think I have to preface it that Push Wars just happened out of a whim. So the year before, I worked on Mobius with my friend Noir. And I wanted to do my own project, but I didn't know how to go about it. So I had made that bounce 3-page like short just for a friend, and it made me think like, hey, maybe I should just make something stupid. And so I just thought of like a really buff toddler fighting this frail skinny old man, and I went in with no script at the start, with no storyboards. I just drew like the first few pages. Granted, like, whoever's listening, please at least have an idea of what your story is gonna be. Don't just jump into it, because you don't know how much work it's gonna take and how many pages it's gonna be. So I always advise that. But I remember the start being really hard because I had to like keep redrawing certain pages or like adding a page in between pages because the pacing was all over the place. But to be honest, I was probably I don't recall what I was listening to at the time, but like I said, I just probably went out like in the mood. I was probably listening to some really whack music or some just stupid like.
You have one example?
Music. So there's this song called Four Big Guys.
Just
I can sing it for you, but
no, it's okay. It's okay.
it's a really big meme song, but and I
Listen
had that
to
on
that one,
repeat.
Meech.
What happened?
I bet Meech listened to that one.
Nah, I actually haven't heard of that one. That sounds like a pretty funny song though.
It's something to definitely like look up, but like have headphones in, you know. But yeah, so that was one of my inspirations. I didn't really have any other inspiration. I was just like winging it for the most part, and then I think it was like midway through, I couldn't figure out how to end it. And one of my closest friends, his name is The Strays on Instagram. He recommended like, hey, you should like do a time skip to show like the main character like as an adult or something. And so I ran with that. But it also took a more serious tone at the end. So I was like, most of it was like action comedy, and then it started taking like a weird turn. And I understood like some people got taken aback by it because it just came out of left field. But I think for like my first like solo project, I think it was a good one.
But was it that good?
No, it was good. It's just
I loved it, bro.
Thank you. I know like it's no longer on Manga Plus anymore. I took it down I think a year after because I had like severe like imposter syndrome from it, because I think I placed like third. And that was like, I think that was the same month where we all competed against No Name.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, like, I felt, like, don't get me wrong, I was super proud to have, like, at least competed against, like, No Name as well. But, like, I think since it was my very first project, me being in third place didn't feel right. It felt like I wasn't deserving of that place just yet, since it was my first project. So I consider myself very lucky for it. That's why I pulled it out, but it's on Global Comics right now, and I think it's on Namikomi as well.
So,
Namikomi.
Going back a little bit into Push Wars, the whole concept to me was just hilarious. Like an old man fighting a buff toddler. Like it was just pretty funny overall. Do you? And I noticed a bunch of your comics always kind of like include, you know, some kind of comedy in there. Are you a big comic fan? Like who are some of your favorite comedians, if you are?
So I don't have a favorite comedian, but I think just drawing comedy or writing comedy is a lot easier for me because I don't really have to like take it too serious, so I can just go nilly-willy with it. Plus, like, I'm part of like this very close-knit friend group with a lot of people, with some of my best friends, and we just like, we're all comic artists and we just fool around all the time. So like, I guess it's like part of the environment to make something comedic. So I think just to like TLDR, I think it's just more easier to tackle. But I have been wanting to tackle more serious topics as well because as much as I love like comedy shonen and stuff, I'm more of a seinen reader these days. so I want to delve more into like psychological or like more like seinen battle, I guess. Like, you know how like Tokyo Ghoul is kind of like that, something like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. What about movie inspirations?
Oh, I got a ton of those. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So most
You
of my
ready?
inspirations, only some inspirations when I make comics are from like other mangas. So like I guess my biggest inspiration right now for comics is like JJK, but I think the vast majority of my inspirations are just TV shows and movies. So I'm a really big horror fan, and my favorite horror movie of all time is The Thing, like the 1982 version,
Yeah.
as well as like the prequel sequel, I guess you can call it that. So I've been working on this project that kind of like encapsulates like everything that I like about horror movies, like slasher, like or like war films too. Like there's this one war film that you can watch on Netflix called All Is Quiet on the Western Front, and that's a really good one. It's about it's like in the perspective of the Germans from World War One when the tanks arrived and everything.
Damn.
So like I was very inspired by that movie for some, and then I have some that's like inspired by like District 9 mixed with The Thing, mixed with Doom, like the first Doom movie. There's like a lot of inspirations on my on my sleeves, I guess you could say, for stuff like this.
I love horror films as well. But hold on, what's your top 3 then?
Okay, so number 1 is definitely The Thing 1982, right? So that's the number 1 all-time like film of all time, not even just horror. That's my all-time favorite film.
Dang.
I would say. And so do you want it to be horror films or just my
Yeah,
top
horror
three?
films.
Okay, so my second favorite, I think I would have to say is it's either this one's a weird one because it's not a really good movie looking back, but Darkness Falls. It's that Tooth Fairy horror film where you like. So basically, the premise is that like the Tooth Fairy will come for you and like kill you if you're like not in like a source of light. So if you're like in the darkness, she can come and like attack you because she's afraid of light or she's weak to the light. And I just thought that concept was very horrifying when you think about it. So that's my second favorite. I think that's a 2003 film. And I guess my third favorite would have to be. It's really hard to think because I have so many that I like. I guess Hereditary because that's the only one that really stressed me out during watching. And it's not that it's scary. It's just a very stressful movie, and I think that I haven't felt that in another film in a long time.
Hereditary is one of the top of all time.
Yeah.
So about projects, right? How long, Mitch? How long did we know each other? Everyone here, like maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe.
Yeah, just about.
I think.
Probably about 3.
That's 3. So going back in time, then I want to know more about your experiences. How long did it take to you to get here? And were you really like an artist kid, or were you?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one last time?
Yeah. Like sorry. So basically, about your experience, how long did it take for you to get here?
As in like making comics?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't consider myself by all means a professional at any sort of like the word. My best friends are very good at like keeping me grounded and keeping me like always aware that like, hey, there's someone better out there, just keep working hard. And we always like pick up from one another, like we teach each other constantly. And I've known them for a good long time now. But I would definitely say that what got me here is that I remember one night I was like a kid and you know how when as a kid you're not allowed to watch Adult Swim, right?
Oh, yeah.
But like one night, I can't remember. I think I was like 8 years old. One night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I wanted to watch TV, and knowing that I wasn't supposed to watch Adult Swim, I wanted to defy my parents for once. So I was like, I turned on the TV and Adult Swim comes up and Toonami's like airing right now, and the first thing that I saw was the first like Final Valley episode like fight between Naruto and Sasuke, and I'm thinking like, who are these kids? This is so cool, you know. And like at the time I only watched like the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, SpongeBob, and all that.
Yeah, the
Chowder.
Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy was pretty dope though.
Oh yeah, it still is. It's a
Shit.
timeless classic.
Alright, go on,
Yeah, so
on.
I saw that Naruto episode, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. This looks really cool. I don't know these characters, but they're like fighting and everything. It's super cool. And then the next show that aired right after that was like I think it was like the most heartbreaking episode of Good and Lagann. And I just remember thinking like, wow, I really love this art. I want to find out more about it. And I stumbled across a Naruto volume as a kid soon after, and I just kept reading Naruto, and then I think the rest was history. That's when I decided I wanted to be a comic artist.
Damn.
But
Inspiring.
but nowadays my biggest inspirations are my best friends, and they're pretty prominent artists themselves. There's Nowhere the Arts. You can find them on Instagram. They made Mobius and Siege, and they made this long-running series called Punch Drunk. And then I think recent one is my friend Jajampo, and they recently like released Big Girl on Manga Plus, and I think they were like the top 10 of that month. I just don't remember which month.
And real quick shout out to all of them.
Yeah, I mean I got a couple more shout outs if that's okay.
No, good, bro.
Yeah,
They
so I
help
got-
you. You should.
Yeah,
shout
so
out.
one that's a big horror fan like myself is Harakiri, and he recently made this one shot called Mr. Twist. It's a very gory like slasher, and you can only read it on Global Comics, but it's a really good read. And I got a whole bunch. I'm just gonna shout them out. There's Furazaki. He works on Naro alongside Harakiri on Webtoons. So check that out. There's also Cyborg or Metallic Might. They work on I'll Try, which is also on Webtoons. And then I have a friend who loves to write, and their name is The Strays. And they're also the co-creator of Siege, and they're the main writer of Siege as well. So that's what they recently worked on. And then I have a friend named Serge Spark. They haven't released a comic yet, but they're a really good illustrator, and they are working on one. So just stay tuned for that. But that's pretty much all the shout outs, I think. I think that's all my closest friends.
Pretty much. It's a lot of.
It's a lot, I know, it's a lot, but those are
You got a whole gang.
we're all artists, like we all make comics.
Respect.
No, that's hella
Really,
dope.
a lot of. Yeah.
I think we got a lot of friends too. It's that's good when you have like a little community of you guys, because there's so many friend circles in this whole like indie space. I would say that sometimes people forget that you need other people to go ahead and, like you said, keep you grounded, just talk to and everything in general.
Yes.
About how long? About how long have you known
Go on.
everybody?
So I think I've known the group, if I remember correctly, it's either late 2017 or early 2018. So roughly like 6-7 years at this point.
Dope. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was by happenstance. Like, I was like, I used to do like live streams on Instagram, and I used to like work on phones and computers. And Furazaki joined one day, and he thought I was cool, and we talked, and we both found out we were artists, and the rest was history.
Right on. Everybody in the chat's liking your music. I mean, your movie taste. Everybody look. It seems like they've also watched these movies. Like I'm gonna have to check them out because I haven't checked out any of those.
I got a lot of TV shows too.
Very good.
Granted, like they're the least inspired for me, but like there's a lot of good TV shows out there too.
So you meet this whole group. I mean, you guys been, it seems like, at it for a bit. What keeps you motivated? How do you kind of avoid burnout? Because I know a lot of people in this space, myself included, sometimes, and I'm sure you've experienced this as well. It's not the most rewarding thing, at least not immediately. How do you stay
No,
how do you
not
stay
by a long
grounded in it?
shot.
How do you stay motivated?
That's a very tough one because it's not like one single thing that'll keep you motivated, right? It's all very situational. I think with my friends, they make sure that they keep my ego in check. So they'll let me they'll keep me grounded is what I'm trying to say. So I'll be like, hey, I got this really cool idea. I'm gonna start working on it. Blah blah blah. I have like ideas for it to make it a series, right? And I'm telling this to my closest friends. They'll be like, whoa, Rico, slow down. We're all still very babies in like this industry, and like it's not that easy to make continuous chapters, which is true. And like they'll just tell me like, hey, just be careful, know your limits. Share when you know you can, and like don't push yourself too hard, but don't also like don't make sure that you're keeping yourself realistic with the expectations of everything, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's less about motivation and more about expectation that keeps me working. So I'll treat everything as like it's just practice for the most part. So with like Push War, it was just more so I wanted to just try my first one shot by myself, see what I can make all by myself. And granted, even then, I still like they helped me. They critiqued my art. They made sure that some anatomy was corrected from certain pages, or like how paneling was supposed to work. So like they always keep me accountable of like my skills and everything and what I'm doing. And so like it's not like I know everything. I always learn something new from them. Like one page I could be like, okay, this panel or this bubble should have this many words, and then my friend will come up to me and be like, hey, I think there's too many words stuck into this one bubble. I think it's going to be a little bit overbearing. Maybe like shorten the sentence, make it more concise, or like split it into multiple bubbles, but make it where it's cohesive and it's not like overbearing and like suffocating for the reader. And I was like, okay. So it's always constantly me getting like corrected, me going to them being like, hey guys, is this correct? So like a lot of it has to do with just like having my friends, for the most part, be like my editors and my critiquers. And that's the reason why I think I'm like, with my skill, I am where I am today because of them. So like I think it's very healthy to have a group of friends that are like-minded with you, that like to make comics with you, that are just as motivated as you, and most of the time know more than you too, because it's always better to see a second pair of eyes on your work for it. And I think just them keeping me corrected and keeping me in check is part of the motivation that keeps me going.
Wow, that's definitely true. You guys even had something going on. It looks like that. Now I want to know. Well, everyone, we want to know what is the daily life of Human Doberman. What does it look like? Is that regular, everyday?
Well, I'm
What does
pretty
that look
lazy.
like?
I'll be honest. I can be pretty lazy. So like it's not art 24/7. Sometimes it's not no art for a couple days or maybe even weeks at a time. I'm gonna be honest. I'm human. I can get really lazy sometimes. There's stuff going on that I need to focus on, or I just don't feel like it. And those are the times where I try to run away from my friends, from the responsibilities. They'll be like I'll be in call with them, like playing like Elden Ring or something, and be like, "Hey Rico, like, have you drawn today?" I was like, "Huh?" And they'll keep asking me a question. I'll just act like I can't hear them. They'll be like, "You better start drawing." I was like, "Oh God." So I start drawing, and then you know how it is. Like sometimes it sucks to start, but then once you start doing it, like you get in the zone, and at that point, it's like it's clockwork. It's like effortless. So for me, it's like I'm very needing of getting that push from other people, which is something that I need to work on myself, to push myself. But a lot of it comes from my friends pushing me to do my day-to-day art. Like criteria and like goals. And then there'll be days where I'll like, I don't even need to worry. Like I can just start it out of a whim. But most of my daily day is like working my day job, then going to the tattoo shop, learning there as an apprentice. And then when I get home, sometimes I'm like too tired to do anything, so I'll just hang and chill with my friends. But then sometimes I'll just start drawing. And then when I draw, usually it can go from 5 hours to 12 hours of drawing nonstop. So when I do draw, I definitely draw for a long time. It's just a matter of getting myself on that chair and sitting at that desk and working.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. You said you were a human. Meech, I thought he was a human Doberman. What was going on?
I thought.
Well, that's just half of it. That's just half of it, my friend.
Wait. So then, what's the inspiration from that? Where you get that from?
So,
Human Doberman.
So that one canceled story that I like posted on my Instagram called Dober, that was like a story that I've been writing since like 2014. And I think it was just something that was very personal to me at the time that like I just wanted to like associate with it. So I just thought of a name. I was like, oh, Dober. Let me think of Doberman, right? And then I was like, oh, I'm just human Doberman. and like it's, to me it sounded unique like at the time. Obviously it's pretty stupid, but now at this point I can't escape it, and I don't mind it now. So I went by many names beforehand.
I love that name.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool name. It is. I would say it's unique. No, I don't see nobody else being half human, half Doberman. So, you know,
it's not even my favorite dog, but
you know, I was just gonna follow up with that. I mean, do you have a Doberman? Is that why? Like, was it?
I've never owned it. No, I've never owned a Doberman.
Then, what's your favorite dog then?
I don't know actually.
Dang.
I think you should be a human Chihuahua then.
Human Chihuahua. I think that makes sense. Yeah, and we got a lot of those in Puerto Rico.
Oh.
So you mentioned your day job, and then you mentioned tattooing. I know you said that you're in an apprenticeship earlier. How'd you get into that?
So, I think it was just happenstance. Cause like I really hate my day jobs. Like I never had a day job that I really liked. But I got a couple tattoos on me, and I went to this one tattoo artist. She was very sweet, and she did this neck tattoo for me. And I just out of random, I was like, I wonder like what it's like to be a tattoo artist, or like how much they make. So at first it was more so like money wise, and I just kept showing up, and because the piercer I get my piercings from is the same shop, and I just made friends with them. And eventually they told me like, hey, we're about to go to this we're gonna move to this new shop, so I'm gonna give you the address so you can come like visit us there. And I was like, hey, actually I was thinking about a tattoo. I just said it. I was like, just thinking about a tattoo apprenticeship. And the tattoo artist that I talked to about that already knew that I could draw, and she was like, I'll gladly take you in. I was like, oh, okay. And it just happened like that. Now, granted, that's not going to be everyone's case. I think for me, I just got kind of lucky because I made friends with the tattoo artist in the shop beforehand. But I definitely recommend for anyone who wants to jump into that, so just have a portfolio ready. Your art Instagram is just as fine as well. Like tattoo artists do not mind just seeing that as well, and you just go up to them, go to a shop. Don't call them. If you call them and ask for an apprenticeship, they'll laugh in your face and hang up on you. But just go to the shop, be like, hey, you guys looking for an apprentice? And if they say yes, you show them your portfolio and you work it from there. It's, for me, it was a lot simpler, and it's a lot simpler too in general. But I just did it so I can have like a day job that revolves around art, which will also build up like my discipline as well for everything else.
Yeah, networking is super important, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, networking is the most important thing for an artist. Period.
You have a lot of tattoos. I'm kind of curious right now. Because
Only
you got a lot
three.
of friends, huh?
Only got
You got a
three,
lot
but
you
well, I'm gonna
definitely
have
got
a
some of your
much more.
group name right in the tattoo right on your chest or something.
Now I got a tramp stamp that says like God's property on it.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm
I bet
joking.
I bet you even got the you're Human Doberman, so you definitely got the what's it called the the drops on your eye,
No.
teardrops there.
Yeah, I only got a couple tattoos, but I'm gonna get more as time goes on. Because I do get free tattoos here and there for being apprentice. Um, but
Nice.
yeah, I'm definitely thinking about going full body, leaving the face alone though. I like my face, so probably just leave that.
And some fella. You- Even a tattoo artist then.
Tattoo artist by day, comic artist by night. That's the dream.
Is that gonna be your new motto?
Is that gonna be my new what?
New motto. Is that how you say it? Motto?
Yeah, for the time being, that's gonna be my new motto. My new MO. I think it's just more of a path for me to like be more of an artist in life in general. To help is definitely to just help me be more consistent with just that, and then hopefully that can financially like support my main dream, which is being a comic artist.
Now, I know you said you're, a little lazy, and I heard something about games. What games are you?
Yes.
What games are you like playing?
Well, currently I'm like playing Elden Ring. I've got at least like almost 400 hours in that game. I'm just making a new character to play the DLC, but I know if I buy that DLC, I'm gonna be screwed with my work. So I've just been holding that out for now. There goes one of my best friends, Furzaki, in the chat. So shout out to Furzaki and Nord Arts. Like I said, Furzaki is working on Naro right now. You can find that on Webtoons as well as Manga Plus. And for Nord,
Yep, for sure.
Nord,
For sure.
yeah, for Nord, definitely check out their Instagrams. It's the same name that they have here on YouTube. Nord, he works on Siege. He also worked on Punch Drunk. Just be on the lookout for those as well. But yeah, I'm currently playing Elden Ring. I also play a lot of Dead by Daylight with some of my friends and Marvel Rivals, here and there. But it's like a couple weeks back, it was a really big problem because I was doing it nonstop when I wasn't working. But now it's died down a bit, so I'll just play like a day or two here and there.
Why didn't you join in my podcast then? Oh, we gotta play sometime. If you love that.
I'm playing Elden Ring right now on the podcast. No, I'm joking.
So
Yeah, man.
it sounds like you enjoy a little bit of everything, and I think that's pretty solid to be well rounded and everything. Just because
Yes.
like I always tell people, life's short. You gotta enjoy all of it. What are your goals with comics and manga and all that and storytelling? Like, what's the big point that you're trying to get to?
Well, let me start with the short-term goal. So short-term is just to like build up that work ethic, because that is definitely something I need to work on. So short-term goal is just like build one-shots here and there, like a collection of one-shots throughout the years, to at least have a good portfolio and know where I am with my experience and my consistency with work, and find myself a little more there. And long-term goal is to either self-publish, either through Patreon or just like, I guess, just printing it myself and just going to like cons and selling it there, or to pitch to like publishers like Image, Dark Horse, Vault, Boom, like all those other comics there. Like, because as much as I love manga and love making like manga, I consider what I make more so like manga themed comics, or graphic novels. So I definitely would want to get published under an American publisher. for the most part. But yeah, long-term goal is to just see where it goes. That's why I'm like kind of experimenting with what I'm working, because I don't know if I would be better as a short story creator, like just making collection of short stories like Junji Ito, or if I would even be worth, or like have like the skill to do long-term storytelling, which I'm probably leaning more on the former than the latter, because I don't think I have the tools in place to be able to like build something long term. And I think it's more fun to have multiple ideas to tackle as like their own like standalone stories than to like stick with just one idea, at least for me personally, because I think of many ideas all the time, and I think tackling them as short form stories is a lot more fun than thinking of something long term.
That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. 'Cause most people that we come across always do have that mindset of I want to make my long series type story. But that's pretty cool hearing that. It sounds like you kind of, like you said, wanting the former versus the latter. And
Yeah, like I still have wants for the latter to make something long term. I just think more realistically, short term is more suited for me.
I mean, in general.
Yeah.
I think we should start talking Spanish now. So we talk about goals and series. Wait, hold on. Are you seeing? Are you watching Meech stream right now?
Yeah, he's rejoined that
Meech,
one.
what are you drawing,
from
Meech?
Pushwar.
Oh yeah.
He's joined the old man from Pushwar.
Yeah, I wanted to pick out a random panel, and I was like kind of like sliced between drawing drawing the girl, the buff toddler, or drawing the grandpa. You know what? Grandpa for the win.
Base grandpa. He died doing what he loved.
Yeah,
I think we talk a lot about the past, right? And now I want to focus on the future. Do you have any future projects planned? I know. Are you gonna maybe soon? Some sneaks or something?
Yeah, I got some sneak peeks here. As for like how soon, I think I treat everything that I work on as like when it's done, then I'll like announce the date. I think that's more healthy as well. But hopefully this most recent project that I'm going to reveal here sometime this year, if not hopefully sometime next year, and like early next year, but there's no definite date on it just yet. It's for this story, it's called Death Row Underground, and it's much in the same vein as like Push War in terms of like it has somewhat of like a weird zany side to it, but it's a little bit more serious. And it's more so a love letter to just like action, like comics, or just that in general. It's gonna have a lot of action. It's gonna have like the same kind of like power system that Push War had. So like they have like crazy like stupid powers. But it takes place in Japan. So since it's taking place in Japan, I wanted to like follow that motif. So like the title card is in Japanese and all the sound effects are in Japanese, which I almost never do unless it's taking place in that location. So I wanted to have fun with that. But yeah, I have some material I can share in here. Whenever you guys are ready to, if you guys want to show it here.
Yeah, let me pan to it right now. Here, let's start off with.
Show it.
Yeah, I'm gonna show it right now. So is this the cover, right?
Yes.
Ooh. Death Row Records.
Is that Suge Knight in the back? Nah, that's pretty
So
dope.
yeah, this is the cover. So these are like the two focal characters that you'll see. I can get more into them a little bit more as we go in throughout the pages, and I I've also revealed at least like the first couple like 6 or 7 pages of the one shot. This is a one shot, by the way.
Wow.
But yeah, these are the two focal characters, and they're both prisoners, and they're both like part of like this like underground industry where like prisoners are made to fight to the death for like fun for like the upper class, but it's strictly for prisoners that are on death row, which is what the name suggests. So like death row underground. Yeah, so it's like it's death row prisoners fighting underground basically.
Dang.
But
not gonna lie, I thought the guy in the back.
Wait for that.
I thought the guy in the back was a self-portrait, but I noticed he didn't have any tattoos.
Thanks.
So I could definitely say like the big dude in the back is very inspired by the toddler from Push War in terms of just being the big brolic character. But the
Not
character
inspired by
front, the character in the front is more so inspired by like a myriad of manga characters that I can't reveal, because if I reveal it now, it's gonna give away like their powers.
Okay.
So I think I'll just leave it at that. But you can show the pages. Yeah, you can give them a little sneak peek of like the first couple.
You're not gonna ruin my fantasy. I'm gonna say that was inspired. The big guy is inspired by you.
Okay, we'll say it's inspired by me for now.
All right.
Just to make sure that you're happy.
Dang, so a futuristic landscape with that 2050, huh?
Yeah, so
The pages here. Wow.
it's loosely in the same universe as Push War, but it's completely standalone. So it's taking place the same year that Push War ends.
Dang, all right.
So yeah, but it takes place in Tokyo, and that's the Tokyo Detention House, which is that's the actual detention house in Tokyo. It's a real building. Now, granted, I didn't do too much research on the building, like if that's like a prison or anything, but I think it was good to set the tone for where this is gonna happen.
Just a hospital.
that's actually.
I would laugh so hard if I find out it was a hospital.
That's actually an elderly living facility.
But yeah, so
we're diving into the plot now.
Yeah, so we wanted to set the location, at least for the first page, to let the reader know, like, hey, this is going to take place here in Japan, specifically at this detention house. But deep beneath the Tokyo Detention House, that's where the fun stuff happens. That's where we have the death row inmates duke it out. So you can already see, like, it's kind of has like some Baki and Kengan Ashura vibes in a way, like it's like underground fighting. So there's definitely that. Yeah.
Dang, my boy with the double chin.
Oh. I love this already, man. Top manga of all time now.
Yeah, I'm liking this.
Can already say it.
I'm liking this intro for real.
Thank you. So, if you want to know what kind of music I was listening to for like these pages, I do recall that I was actually listening to the Mortal Kombat theme song. I don't know why.
Classic.
It just hit me up to draw it. But yeah, so there's that. Yeah, I'm very proud of this page. I think this is still one of my favorite pages so far.
Dang, I like this this octagon looking crowd. Our fighters from
So fun fact about that. The way that I make my backgrounds, I use 3D backgrounds for the most part. Most of the time, wherever I can find them, but I'm a big user of Gmod specifically. One because it's to use those backgrounds, you have more leeway, like license wise, because it's more so like it's commercial friendly for the most part for almost all the maps that you'll find in there, because they're made by other people. And most of the maps that you can use is just like recreations of like New York City, downtown LA, France. So like it's not like it's specifically like a creatively like
Privatized
specifically
kind of thing.
made map. Yeah.
All right.
So, for this octagon ring, I actually went to Sketchfab and used a 3D background that I purchased from there. As for the characters, I have like a brush from Clip that helps you like draw the crowd. Because at least for like establishing shots, you don't want to draw everyone so much because that's just gonna waste your time. So it's okay to cut corners this way by like finding a brush that can do that for you, or find like materials that can do that for you. But you still have to do most of the work of like cleaning up the background, setting the tone, drawing what you need to draw in there. So like I use whatever help I can get to help me with it. So yeah, full disclaimer, almost all the backgrounds are 3D, are like from 3D like backgrounds that I found like over the internet.
Hey, Joe,
And I'll just like add upon.
Isn't that funny? That's exactly what we were kind of talking about yesterday. You got to use the tools at your disposal. Make it
Yes.
as easy as possible as you can for yourself.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked
so there's
about
a-
it.
There's an argument to be made on like if that's like being lazy or not, but I think a lot of it has to do with just like how you use it. So, and I come from a 3D like animation background, so I learned how to 3D model, and some of my backgrounds are made by myself. So I for a very long time been using 3D backgrounds for any and all of my comic pages or illustrations. And if you guys ever watched like the show called Mamben, it's like a show where the creator of 20th Century Boys interviews other like legendary manga artists
Oh
and
yeah.
record how they work. There's one about Inyo Asano, the creator of Oyasumi Punpun, Goodnight Punpun. He is what inspired me to really use 3D backgrounds, because his whole episode is just him taking photos and finding like photos that he can find, and he'll interpret them as his own backgrounds, right? And I think that's definitely a really smart move, and it helps you a bit with perspective as well. It teaches you more about perspective. So when you have to make a background without the 3D, you can kind of already know how to deal with the perspective, and you can use the grids at your disposal to make something out of it.
No, I agree for sure. Just like you said, using 3D backgrounds and stuff like that, it helps you cut corners, but it's not a replacement for actually like learning this stuff either.
Yeah, you still got to do a lot of the work, because you could just slap the 3D background on there and then just convert it to line arts and then be done with it. You still got to do like the hatching, the shading, wherever need be. You gotta balance out the negative and positive spaces to make sure that it's comprehensible to everyone. So it's all on a situation by situation basis. Yes, and then this is one of our main guys. So his name is Daiichi Shigai, which actually translates to the Earth's corpse, which I thought was really cool and really metal. Yeah, so he's coming in at 160 centimeters, which I believe is 5'2" or 5'3", and 65 kilograms, which I believe is like 125 pounds, if I'm correct. Now he has a sentence of 10,568 years for slaughtering an entire military platoon. So these guys mean business, and these guys are not to be messed with.
Dang.
So these are very dangerous people.
Realistic.
Yes.
Too.
So
I got those too.
So he's not a nice guy.
He doesn't. Maybe he's a nice guy. Maybe no.
I guess we'll have to see there,
we'll just
right?
have to wait and see.
I think he's a nice guy. Honestly, he looks like a good guy.
Dang. Then we got Human Doberman right here.
Oh
in the blue corner. My guy killed an orphanage.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
And his name is Organ Devourer.
Oh no.
Yeah, he has a sentence of 57,432 years. And he's an undisputed champion for like this kind of like stuff. So it's basically a contender versus the champion. So
What?
and basically the premise of it is that whoever wins gets to like lower their sentence, right? So I was inspired by Gantz, kinda like in Gantz, like they have to do like these death games where they have to like hunt these aliens down, and every time they successfully pass a mission, they get points awarded to that, and if they get enough points, they can get out of the game. So I kind of interpreted that into like this prison sentence. So like they have to do like these death matches, and every death match they win, it'll lower their sentence.
Hey, that's
So there's a big incentive.
that sounds pretty cool for sure. So no date on this yet, right?
No date whatsoever. It could be expected sometime this year. It could be expected sometime next year. It's not gonna be an like especially big one shot. The plan is for it to be a little bit more than Push War, so probably 50 to 60 pages if everything works out. But I don't have a definite date for it just yet. But I'll definitely like start making announcements to get closer to the date. On your birthday?
Please. Yes, please, bro. Please. Please.
That one looks pretty sick. But this next one, this one's coming out in a bit, right? The one that we're gonna talk about next.
So this next one is actually far into the future. This one I already announced the date for it, or at least a rough date for it. This next one won't be coming out till 2027 because it's going to be a collection of one shots. At least that's the plan for it.
Dang. Yeah, I remember seeing it on your story, and I was like, "Oh shoot, it's that news coming from Doberman. What's up? Let me check it out."
So yeah, so this one's more so this one's where a lot of my inspiration for like my love for like horror films and what I like comes into play. So this one's very inspired by like The Thing, horror movies, you name it, like all that good jazz. And there's a little bit of like inspiration of like action. So like there's inspiration from The Raid in this as well. But this is just one of the 4 stories that's supposed to be released with this project that I'm working on.
So
yeah, so this. I'm sorry. Go on.
So this quote right here from Charles Darwin. That's one of my favorite quotes as well. We stopped looking for monsters under our bed when we realized that they were inside us.
Yeah, so this one's definitely supposed to like start a conversation. At least this one shot. It's like I guess, well, I can't really say without it spoiling it, but it's definitely going to follow the theme of what is stated in this quote. So you guys can definitely make what you will with that.
I'll come before GTA 6, right?
Probably after, for sure.
Damn.
Because the first project that's gonna come out is definitely Death Row Underground, just so that it's more so like to give you guys something to read while I work on this main project. Because then after that, there's not gonna be any projects being released until this one's done.
Yeah. Looks hella interesting though. Those both. Can't wait, bro. Can't wait, hermano. Shit. Bro,
Damn.
This background right here goes pretty hard.
Yeah, bro.
Which one?
Oh, this is the first one in the chat. The one you sent, because you sent a bunch of shots,
yes.
But it's right after the quote.
Yeah, so this, like, once again, like it's following like that trend that I like to do where I establish the location first, which I think it's definitely a smart way for any person to like start on a story, is to like establish the shot first before you start really getting into like the characters and such, because then they can have that in the back of their head while they're like seeing all these other panels and all these other shots, and it'll help them like reference that, like, okay, so we're looking at preferably what is, I would guess, of an abandoned factory, right? Or an abandoned like warehouse.
Right.
So now, after seeing this shot, whenever I start reading the other panels, granted there's backgrounds in all the other panels too, I'm gonna keep knowing that this is happening inside this abandoned warehouse or this abandoned factory. And it also sets the tone because it's at nighttime. So you already know, like, okay, this is probably gonna be more serious, more dark themed, like more horror centric, right? So it's already establishing the shot for that.
Let's see.
Bro, I got no words. Looks too good, bro. I'm trying to glaze, bro.
Yeah, so the art style you could tell is a little bit more different from the Death Row Underground art style. I wanted it to be a little bit more serious, so I wanted it to be like more semi-realistic, at least to the best of my abilities. You'll see more of that once like you get to actually read it when it comes out from the other pages that I have so far. But this one's supposed to be like me trying to tackle a more serious, more dark, more mature story. So I'm getting the best of both worlds. One that's comedy and action, and then one that's like just serious in action, right? And horror.
Yeah, this one definitely has a grittier feel. Definitely has more, like you
Yes.
said, like a horror kind of feel.
Yes, and then there's obviously the Perlin noise, which adds like an effective film grain for it, just to make it feel like you're like watching a movie kinda. Because that's what I was trying to go with this. Since it's inspired by movies, I wanted it to be more movie centric, like more movie feeling.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be your like conventional comic, to say the least. It's definitely gonna be like something that's kind of like that. It's just using that as a medium, but it's more gonna be more so a movie in a way.
All right.
Yeah. So as you can see, like the hallway is super dark until some person turns on their flashlight and they see something. It looks very cryptid, looks lanky, looks very tall. It's got really long legs, so like you already know like this is something out of the ordinary. And then you can see here that it's running away from them, and whoever's pursuing them is communicating with someone and chasing right after them.
Man, we got this long haired person.
Really love
right
the
here.
composition. For real. Channeling, I love it. So movie-like.
Yeah. So for me, I actually use more so square shaped pages. More like it's still rectangular portrait, but it's a lot shorter. It's not your typical like 1920 to 2560 format that I know Manga Plus really likes as a recommendation. I think for me it's just easier to make it in a smaller canvas because for me it makes it feel less overbearing to work on it. And you have to like think a little bit more to like work around that limitation. And I think it makes me feel more comfortable that way. So it's the same format as like Push War and Death Row Underground. Granted, I do want to make a more like normal format like comic in the future, but I think right now I just want to stay where I'm comfortable with the format that I can work on. So that's why this is a little shorter.
Think inside the box, huh?
Yeah. And you can see like this creature. You can see this creature's running. It doesn't have a mouth, and it got kind of cornered. And there's like these two like brolic-looking guys in like SWAT attire. You got this guy. Now, there's a motif for the characters that I have. The characters aren't revealed from what I've shown, but each character is from a different like part of the world. So this person that's aiming right now and talking is supposed to be British. Now, obviously, I'm trying to work around it to where it doesn't come off like a little disrespectful for the characters I'm portraying. But I wanted each character to portray a different side of the world. So like we have an American character, British character. Yes, we have a Puerto Rican character. And,
Hey,
we
what
have we have a Norwegian character. We got a whole bunch of characters. So, but yeah.
Last character, the one that's shouting, the monster. Definitely named Timmy.
A monster character.
Name Timmy. I know, named Timmy. Everything's so serious.
You see how it's like nighttime and it's really hard to see without the light. It sets that tone a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is one of my favorite pages. So the same goes with like giving that movie effect. So I actually blur most of the background, or like in this third panel right here where the monster is roaring and it opened its mouth. You can see like like from its like forearm down to its legs, it's like blurred. It's like Gaussian blurred. So give it more of that movie effect with the focus, like there's a camera focus going on. So that's kind of like the feel that I'm trying to go for with that.
Dang. It's all pretty exciting, man. This all looks pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So this particular one shot is specifically called Monsters, but it's part of the anthology project called Wicked, Dark, and Strange Stories, which is basically it's a collection of one shots made by me. That's all gonna be like more so serious, more seinen, and it's all gonna follow three themes: that it's wicked, dark, and it's strange. So there's gonna be like some stories that are gonna be like have like the kind of zaniness like Push War and like Death Row Underground's gonna have, but it's gonna be really messed up and really dark, right? So like think of like Gantz, Berserk, like you know how messed up those series can get, or Midnight Poon Poon, kind of like that. So it's gonna be more like mature themed series for like people that are like mature to read, like at least 18 and up.
That's dope.
Like Push War, for sure. Push War is going in there.
Nah,
Push War
so
is,
I know we're close to the time's up because I know you got some stuff to do later on, but man, no, appreciate having you. Is there anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to cover?
Well, first of all, I definitely want to thank you guys for having me. You know, it's definitely an honor.
of course.
I don't ever get to like do stuff like this, and you know, it's always good to like shout out like and put people on the spotlight in the comic industry, albeit indie or not. So I definitely just want to give a final shout out to my friends again: Harikiri, Noir, Burzaki, The Strays, Jajampo, Metallic Might. You know, just shout out to all of them. They're all comic artists themselves and comic creators, so like they all, you know, share our interests. So please be on the lookout for any of their future works or their current works or their previous works. Like look them up with whenever you can, and you know, give their stories a read and see if that's something that you would like. They're all very talented and very gifted artists themselves, and I wouldn't be here today with the skills that I at least have currently without them, because they're my biggest teachers. So I'm very grateful to them, and I'm very grateful to you two guys, because you guys made it a very healthy space for me to compete that month when I published Push War. And if it wasn't for you guys being so like welcoming and so like such just a healthful environment for me, I probably wouldn't have competed again in the future. So I'm very thankful to you guys for everything as well.
Appreciate you so much, bro. It's been some years.
Yeah.
We gotta make a good positive movement in the community, you know? Just
Yeah,
why I got one last question for you.
go on.
If you could give one tip to everyone watching, or every indie creator watching right now, or just everyone, what would it be?
I think one thing I could definitely share that very specific to me that helped me, it's that if you're struggling with working on something, and you find yourself to be the kind of person that likes to reveal your work when it's still like an ongoing project or a whip, and you start losing the motivation after that reveal, maybe just hold out on revealing stuff so soon. You know, you'll get better as time goes on, but the long term, definitely just like sitting down, focusing and working on it, you know, and then revealing it when it's ready. I think that's the best way to go for anybody. For this instance, I wouldn't have revealed any of this stuff if I wasn't welcomed into this podcast. So this is basically like the exception for me. But I do find it that it's a lot easier to work on a project with the least amount of people knowing, because then you don't got that like that weight on your chest that you have to finish it. You know, you can just work on it on your own time, and when you do work on it in your own time and not set like a deadline for yourself, most of the time you can dish out the best quality that you can at that time. So just be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself. Just know that you gotta have faith that it'll come out when it comes out, when you're working on it. You gotta respect yourself and respect your time, and just know where to have a limit with things, and especially with revealing your work.
Oh, inspire. So that will be the end of it.
Well,
Say something, Mitch?
yeah, let me just close it out. Once again, Human Doberman, Rico, appreciate you having you. Shout out to Joe again for co-hosting with me. Appreciate everybody that tuned in, and we'll see you again next week. We got another guest. Surprise, surprise, he's in the chat right now. So look forward for that next week. And yeah, see you guys. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Take it easy, guys.
Boom, there we go. We are off.
Nice. That was very nice.
That went a lot better than I thought. Because I thought it was gonna